Chapter 1, pages 1 through 8, being a short exposition about what could happen and how it would happen. And if these enemies or competitors be in the least degree favored by any slight change of climate, they will increase in numbers. And as each area is already fully stocked with inhabitants, the other species will decrease. Charles Darwin, On the Origin of Species. It is not likely that human beings could catch and destroy all sea life, even if they tried to. And of course, we are not trying to. Nevertheless, considering overfishing, pollution, and global warming, the entire system of ocean life could completely unravel within a relatively short time. And then we would be helpless spectators to a cataclysm. The key to success for all life on Earth is biodiversity, the presence of a wide variety of species. The more advanced species, the relatively recent arrivals, are the most complex. They are also the neediest species, more fragile than the less evolved species that have managed to survive for millions of years with few, if any, genetic changes. The most highly evolved animals in the sea are mammals, whales, porpoises, and seals. Then come the fish that have backbones and fins. A fish with several fins is more evolved than a fish with one long fin. So a cod, for instance, which has 3 fins on top and 3 on the bottom, is more advanced than a flounder, which has only 1 long fin across the top and another across the bottom. More advanced fish tend to feed on less advanced fish. Sometimes they help each other. Dolphins need the help of less advanced tuna to find the even less advanced smaller fish that they both eat. Large fish often drive the small fish they eat to the surface, which makes it possible for seabirds that eat fish to feed. Those seabirds then deposit food on land that feeds crabs, beetles, and lizards, which in turn become food for land animals. So if the great variety of different species, the diversity, is reduced, it will become more difficult for the remaining animals to survive. If the top 40 species of commercial fish were to disappear, or even have their populations decline to very small numbers, this would be a grave threat to all of biodiversity. Other species would begin disappearing too, either because their lives depended on cooperation with these species, or because they used to eat those fish, or even because those vanished species used to hunt predators that were now free to roam and prosper. In time, all fin fish would disappear. In fact, most sea animals with backbones, vertebrates, would completely vanish. Their disappearance would mark the beginning of a process in which evolution goes in reverse. In the ocean, that would mean sea life returning to conditions 550 million years ago, in a time known as the early Cambrian period, long before dinosaurs. At that time, there were no fish. Even today's small fish species, such as sardines and anchovies, are only 100 million years old. Once the larger, more evolved fish were gone, some mammals would die off very quickly. The dolphin, for instance, would not find its food because the bluefin tuna it used to depend on would be gone. The seal would simply starve. Elephant seals might last longer, however, because they feed on squid, a primitive invertebrate that would survive the rapid extinction of marine life. Humpback whales and other large mammals that feed on the tiny shrimp called krill would also survive for a while because they can travel thousands of miles looking for food. But since they need older whales to tell them the location of the feeding grounds, and they would likely end up competing with humans for krill to eat, eventually they would die too. Without large bottom fish to drive the small fish to the surface, seabirds would dry out.